right, let's go. Let's do this. Testing one, two, testing one, two, 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 testing one, two. All right. So I'm just gonna work on a mod. Now it's supposed to be a simple mod, right? Basically, a person wants to get a scarf from Zafina and put it on another character. So what I've done is I downloaded Zafina. Oh, there she is. Nice. And I cut her scarf off, right? Boop. So just her scarf. So I can go ahead and get rid of this because I don't need it. Delete. All right, cool. So I've got this scarf, right? Hide these bones for a second. So I got this scarf and I want to put it on other characters. So what I have is a base body, right? Boop, right here. And as you can see, the base body is, um, it's not the right size. So let's make this base body the right size. So on my, um, thing here, hide that. Doop. If you use this, it's got all the shape keys on it. So we're gonna go here and grab a shape key, and I've got them all checked. But let's turn off for a second, and I want it to fit Zafina. So I'm gonna grab Zafina, right? Okay, cool. So there's the Pheno. Now the thing that kind of sucks right now is that this was not built with the head intact. So if I were to grab the head, it's not going to fit right. And what I am going to run into is an issue where some of this might get distorted a little bit. And so I'm going to try to attempt that as well. So, but basically, I've got this at the shape key. I want to go ahead and bind this to this, right? And I can do it a couple of ways. I could use the shape key to bind it, or I can just physically move it. You know what I mean? Whatever I want to do. Um, and I think maybe that would potentially be a better option. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna go here and let's see what I want to do. So I want to add a surface deformer and I want this to be the target. And I'm not sure where the interpolation fall off will be. Let's put it all the way up to 16 and see how that works. So now whenever did I bind it? All right, let's bind it. So that connects these two together. We'll go to this, we'll go to our shape key, and now I should be able to change it. So let's change this to Nina and turn off Zafina. And you'll see that it has shifted up, right? But I've lost a little bit. Like this doesn't fit in the right place. So let's see, can we use a corrective smooth? Will that be the better option? Use a corrective smooth. Doesn't, it looks like it's fixed this part up here for the most part, but not 100%. I've got this separation here, which I don't want. So I'm going to bypass this method, right? And also it looks like, let's turn this back to Zafina just so I can see it. I'll take a look. All right, and it looks like this piece, for whatever reason, is not attached. So I want to move this back, right? So I'm going to grab this and let's move it back. I'm going to use G and Z to go up a little bit, and then G and Y to go forward so it's underneath there, and that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more GY a little bit like that. And there we go. All right, cool. So, nice. Now this already has weights on it, so I'm not going to put any new weights to it um, because I just grabbed it from Tekken. And I'm going to be putting on another MSL in the same body, essentially the same position, so it shouldn't be an issue. But I do want to make sure that I'm fitting it to the right body. So I created static versions of all the bodies using the shape keys. So let's start with Nina. So I'll go to Nina here. Boop, there we go. We've got this. And I'm going to just duplicate it so that I still have my original one, right? And now I'm just going to try and resize it a little bit, right? So let's go to, go to edit mode first. And we'll just raise it up a bit higher, right? Just about like that. It's around our neck. And um, yeah, I don't like how the bottom doesn't have like a piece in there because it was whatever. So I'm just gonna use the elastic tool. So pull this piece in a bit, right, so that it's nice and firm. Got some skin. Oh, distorting too much. All right, this part for our neck needs to come out a bit. Doo -doo. But not too much because there's a freaking hole here. Try to fix that a little bit. All right, cool. Oh, okay. Now we'll bring this whole section in just a bit. All right, cool. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is just a one-sided piece, and they're probably using like a two-sided mesh on this thing. And this is a really long piece here, um, but it's whatever. All right, so there it is. It's set right on her neck. Looks good. Um, yeah, I think that looks good. I think I'm gonna keep it like that. What I do want to do right now is I'm gonna use this version as the one that I repeat, but I'm gonna call this one Nina Scarf. Um, and I need to create a proxy for this thing. So to create a proxy for it, I'm just gonna, because it's not super complicated, like super dense, but it might be a little bit too dense when I bring it in to use it as physics. So I'm going to create a copy of it. So we'll hit Shift D to make a copy of it. We'll hit separate selection. Now I just have this one. I'm going to isolate it with backslash. Let's turn on that so I can see that. And I just want to, I'm just going to see if I'm just going to decimate it. Let's see. Since it's already quadded out pretty well, it should be pretty easy. I'm going to go to unsubdivide, run it once, twice. And that should actually be pretty solid. I might do another one. Well, let's see, 3. All right, so 4 is getting a little bit crazy, right? So this is saying there's 916. If I do it by 2, it drops the face count to 230, which is plenty low enough, right? But I'm gonna call this one Scarf Proxy. All right, nice. Let's hit backslash to bring it back. Now I want to take the weights that are on this one and put them on this one. So we'll go weight paint, weight transfer. Make sure it's set to nearest face interpolated and by name, and that should be good. What else do I need to do? All right, let's go ahead and set the material. I'm gonna go ahead and just apply this because there's no reason not to. I don't want any materials on this thing. We can go ahead and remove unused slots. We still have this one, but I'm gonna delete that and hey, delete. You delete. There we go. And I'm gonna add this MI cow mesh so that it's just invisible. And I'm just gonna set it to like red or something just so I know. Oops. Wait, what happened here? Okay. Oh, because I set this to cow mesh as well. All right, got you. Okay, so you can see the cow mesh underneath here. That's what that is. Nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this part, which is pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Let's go ahead and do it for the other parts. Oh, the other thing I want to do is make sure that these two are on different um, materials. So let's go into here. Let's remove anything that I don't need. Remove unused. Okay, so I've got this body and scarf. We're going to edit. Let's see what's what. Okay, so there is for the scarf, and that's for the body piece. So perfect. They're two different pieces, even though they are essentially the same textures. Will be good. It's nice and spaced away from the body as well, so I shouldn't have to deal with much issues there. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get her ready to go. So I have this body and I've already exported it and it's in Unreal Engine, and I went ahead and made a physics asset for it because that's what I'll be using. But I need her bones. So I downloaded the 1PP version of her skeleton, which is right here. And I'm gonna bring this into this folder for a second. And I'm gonna take these and I'm going to parent them to that armature deform. All right, nice. Cool. All right, but all I want to actually export right now is this and this and this. So I'll select those three things. Let's go ahead and export FBX. And let's see, scarf Nina MSL is what I want. And those are my saved settings. Faces, apply, triangular faces, blah, blah. Everything's good. Export. All right, let's go into here. So I started working on it a little bit. But there's some things I didn't like about it, so that's why I'm resetting it now. So I'm just gonna delete this real quick. Delete. Delete. And I'll show you in a second how I do the physics for the bodies. Let's see. So I'm gonna go ahead and import Nina's MSL. Bam. There we go. All right, so here it is. I go in here and look at it. You can see that part of it is missing, which is perfectly fine. If I want to, I'll show you how to do the my physics. So I'll take a reference body, which is like right here, and if I go to asset details, I could just turn this off so you can see the body. There it is. But I right click and I go to create physics asset, create, and then I'm usually going to go with about 10, I believe, capsules. And I'll keep it at dominant weight, hit create. All right, so now I've got this. And this is, for the most part, most of the bones that I'm going to use. But what I do is I like to use the single convex hull, and I like to keep it relatively as simple, like low as possible, just so it's not an extra load on my PC. So I believe this bone and this bone are not going to actually trigger, but let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm going to select these. You can select all of them if you want to, but I like to do it in small groups just to make sure my PC doesn't fry itself. And I'm just going to hit regenerate based on the dominant weight. Okay, so it looks like some of the bones didn't take, right? So you can see that this bone didn't take, and you can see that there's a space here. Ah, like a space there, but the bones conform better to the body shape. Now they're not going to form exactly because I'm only using 16 verts per hull, which is each of these little things. But I'm going to go ahead and just delete that because I don't need it. Let's do the same thing for the legs. Regenerate. And bones that it doesn't like are going to get removed and regenerate. Okay, so this one didn't take, so we'll go to regenerate. All right, so there's still some gaps in here, and we want to fix those gaps if we can. I believe, yeah, but before we do that, let's finish this all out. So we'll grab that one. All right, now there's a little bone that goes right here, or a little capsule I want in these pelvic areas. I don't want this gap here. And then I also want this to be a little bit more form-fitting. So I'm going to raise this up to about 64. and then just hit generate. And it looks a little bit better. Let me see, 128. Okay, so that's not really getting any better. So we're just gonna go back. I'll go down to like 32. There we go. It doesn't need to be too big, but I need these side muscles here. So I'm gonna right click and is it right click? I need to show bones. Oh, maybe up here. All right, yep, show all bones. And I'm looking for pelvis side. So I want these two side bones. So I'm gonna select both of these and then just hit add bodies. Boop. There, I got them. Nice. If I go down to the leg, I believe there's some knee bones that I need. Go to knee. And I think both of these will work. Maybe not. No. Okay, I think the back knee works and the front knee didn't. I think there's a different thing I need there. It might be the shin. No, it's not the shin. Let's see, legs, where you at? Do 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 do. I thought it was the knee front. Let me try again. Nope, it's not taking the knee front. Which one is it? Not thigh front. Let's try lower leg. Okay, lower leg works. Perfect. And we'll just have to get the right lower leg as well. All right, that pretty much closes up the knees with legs. Ah, I'm flying all over the place. Okay, so now we need the upper body. Go ahead back to hide the bones. We're gonna grab all of these, spine 1, spine 2, etc., etc. All right, very nice. Um, these drive bones don't work, and these I don't like the hand bones, so I'm getting rid of these. Delete this, delete those. Um, and I could keep them there if I want to, but I just want to keep things as conform to the body as possible. How are these still here? Drive, drive, drive. Delete. All right, what is this? The trap. I think this works. Does. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna, we just did all the top ones up here. The upper arms and the forearms. I don't think this one actually is a thing. Nope. So I'm gonna delete that. All right, so the next thing I want to do is grab the twist bones. TWT. And for ones that don't have it created. So I have the B bone here, which is this one. I'm just gonna grab this and C. And for the forearm, I'm grabbing all three. Make sure I have the same thing up here. And I'll grab C and A. Let's go ahead and make those. All right, there we go. Looks like this one. We go shapes. All right, and then I think elbow. I need her elbow. And I think I can get the front and the back. Let's see. All right, nice. And then I need the deltoid. And I need up and front, up and front. All right, there we go. So then we have, I think this is the root bone. Okay, that disappeared. And there's the head. Now, because the head weights don't take up the entire body, okay, so yeah. So for this one, I'm actually going to take this back and keep it as a capsule real quick. And I'm just going to rotate it. Wait, whatever. Like that. And actually, I want to do it like that. All right, let's get the neck. All right. Okay, cool. So she's done. Nice. Okay, so that's what I would do for physics. I already have it, so I'm just going to delete it. Goodbye. But just to kind of show you the process I go through. All right, so now next step is to go into here, and I want to grab my proxy piece, which is here with the cow mesh. I can highlight it or isolate it, and you can't see it because it's invisible. So I'm going to turn this off for a second. Oops, where'd it go? Okay. Turn off the texture so I can see it. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this into my sim. I also want to use my Nina physics. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to right click, create clothing, call it Nina MSL clothing. I'm going to hit this to load the body reference for Nina. Oh, now I got to do it again. Boom. Hit create. Okay, cool. Nice. Now I'm going to, I can go ahead and put that back on here if I want to. Kind of nice. Um, but now I want this part, right? I need this part to have the clothing assigned to it. So apply clothing, do that. I'll go ahead and save. Nice. Now I've already done this once. Usually what happens when I do this process is it'll shut down my Unreal Engine, and then I just gotta load it back in and everything works great. But it's whatever. So let's see, activate cloth. So here we go. We got our cloth. Let's go ahead and paint it. So I'll set up my sim setup. So normally for sim, I usually go about 6 and 4. For iteration count, it doesn't need to go all the way up. I'll leave it at 10 for right now. For cloth config for mass, I've been using uniform mass lately. We'll keep it at about like, let's see, does it give us references? No. We'll leave it at default for right now. Bending, I'm going to turn on because I want it a little bit stiffer. for collisions, I'll set this at about 2.5. And friction, I usually set down to 0. Environmental properties, I can mess with that in a second. 0.0001 keeps it from blowing all over in the wind. And gravity scale, I'll make it a little bit heavier than normal. I'll say 2.5. We don't need any pressure. Animation properties, I'm going to drop these to about 0.6 so they're not getting tossed all over the place. For the z-axis, I'm going to move it about 0.5. And for spin, I'll make it about 0.5 as well, about half the power. All right, cool. Now, I know a lot of people will set up their paint ahead of time. I don't. I do it in here. So I'll go to cloth painting brush. I'll set it at 100, and I'm just going to paint it all the way up. And usually I paint it about like 2/3 of the way. And then I'll switch this over to smooth, and then I'll use smooth at 1. It's because it gives the greatest overall blend. And then I'll go in and manually blend it even further. All right, maintaining that little piece at the top. All right, and then we just test it, see what it looks like. So there we go, false. Nice. Now you can't see the body because there's the physics it's falling against is what it is. So if we go to skeleton, we're gonna rotate and kind of move it around a bit. Be like, okay. Right? And I don't know how it's gonna look on the character. So I'm just gonna I'm probably gonna load Zafina and see how it looks, right? Okay, cool. So we're gonna hit save. Turn that off. All right. So I also want to get a decent idea of what it looks like, and I need to figure out where I'm going to just reference the materials that are on Zafina. I think. Well, I can't. I need to recreate her materials because I need them to be cloth materials, and they aren't. So I'm looking at this scarf material, like this. That's what I got to recreate. So I'm going to go to textures, and let's see, does she have scarf somewhere? No, we have skirt. What is this? Accessories? That's not it. Let's see, body. That looks like good. So I want all of these body stuff. 2, 3, 3. All right, that nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and save those. And then I just save one, so I can just pick it up, grab it. Right. Okay, they're all right here. All right, that's nice. All right, so let's go back to Blender. So we're here in Blender. Let's isolate this, set up these materials real quick. Yeah. So let's grab our stuff. All right, so I already loaded the color one a while ago. I was playing around with it, but we got to get it and make sure it works and it's set up correctly. So we'll grab, that's the color. We have our ID map. We've got a normal map. Let's grab that. The normal map I won't have to recreate. I can just use the one from the game. All right, so we'll set that up. This to non-color. There we go. Nice. We have So we have an RMA, right? And so we'll go ahead and set this to channel packed, and let's do a separate color node, right? And we're gonna go, so it's red for roughness, and this for metallic. And we're gonna use a mix color node, mix color, and we'll run this into it as a multiplier. Right, and I usually keep that about 0.5. It usually works out pretty well for visualization, you know. Let's see, what else do we have? We have the OBD map, which I won't be able to use for the cloth portion of it, because it's opacity and dirt, and I don't believe there's any opacity issues, so I don't need it. But for the ID map, let's take a look at that and see what we're working with. So, copy. Is this the... Okay, so it's channel packed. If I looked at it straight, oh, it's showing me everything? Or is this the RMA? That's the RMA. I want this one. Okay, cool. So there we go. It's channel packed. If we're looking at just color, we can see the color pieces. So we've got red, we've got green, we've got blue. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a very simple map, right? So I won't even be using this ID. Essentially, I would just be doing something like this. Shift A, search, and do mix color. And then I can just change the color like so. Right? Overlay often looks a little bit better. All right, cool. Very nice. But so I can use the color map. I can reuse that. I can use the normal map, and I'm going to be creating an MRA for it. So to create the MRA, it's pretty simple. I just shift A. And I believe nothing is overlapping here. Nope. Okay, cool. But I'm gonna hit Shift A, search, and I'm gonna get a combined color node. And I'm just gonna take the, instead of the R, will be to, oops, so the red will go to the green, green will go to the red, this will go here, and I plug this into emissive. Then I use text tools, baking, to bake the emission. I'll keep it at 2K. All right. And I'll select that. And that's what I got. Red, green, there. There we go. So let's go ahead and save this. So this swapped. Scarp swap. I'm alright. And just to keep things together, image save as. Oh, that's the thing. I can't make it colorable. Hmm. I'm gonna have to let them know. All right, so that kind of sucks because um I forgot to mention that in the commission. So we'll see if the person wants to proceed. But either way, I'll still make the mod. We'll go from there. All right, so this is exactly the same. So I'm just gonna boop. There we go. Noise. So now I've got that. That's how I want it. All right, so I'm pretty sure these are already separated like this. So setting this up is really just for me. What I can do now though is I can go into here and we're gonna add a new folder and I call this 0. And we'll grab our textures. And I need this texture too. So grab all 3 of these, open them up. Nice. Let's go to our Nina scarf. And I'll keep the names the same for now just because I don't feel like changing them. And we'll make our material. Material instance. Oh. And I'm going to be basing this on this particular. Oops. Alright, see how that disappears? We want to stop that. So we're going to turn scaling to 1. We're going to turn this to 0 and 0. Yay. Let's load up our stuff. Oh, hey you. Right. Okay, so the other thing that's kind of annoying is because I don't have uh I wonder, can I just set a base color here? Was that how that works? Okay, cool. Let's see if this works. I haven't actually tried it using this yet, so let's pick like, I don't know, marine. Okay, cool. So I haven't tried to use the base color on top of this yet, so we'll see how that works. Um, but let's go ahead and grab it, put it right there. There we go. And now I need this piece to also have. So I'm just going to copy this, go back to here. I'm going to duplicate it. Doop. And drop it there. There we go. So now we have it on there, but it's only one-sided, so that's kind of an issue. We want to kind of fix that. So I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to go into the scarf, go to edit mode. I'm going to hit L. I'm going to hit Shift D to separate this. We'll separate that selection. Cool. So now this copy, I'm going to call reverse. We're going to go into here, and I'm going to hit Alt N, and we're just going to flip our normals. All right, nice. So now I'm going to grab all 3 of these, and you want to make sure it still has the same setup for like materials as well as the first one. This one actually, I can just make sure it has a scarf. All right, so I want the scarf proxy and the scarf and the bones. Oh, and I gotta make sure they're all visible. There we go. Now we're gonna export FBX, and we're gonna replace this. All right, nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this real quick. Hit save all, so everything is saved. Go add, we'll say new folder, say 3. I'm gonna go ahead and put all of these into here. Well, actually, yeah, for now. All right, so why'd I call it 3? It should be 2. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna re-import this one. There we go. Now we got it on both sides. And because I did all the cloth and I'm using the same material assignment, essentially, all the stuff just transfers right over. All right. So now let's get it set up for the game. So let's go to accessories real quick. So we'll go to item prefab. Let's go to, I don't know, Renina. She has accessories. So she's got a wing. She's got a big ribbon, buckle, cat ears. I'm looking for something that kind of like sits on her, sits pretty still. You know what I mean? Or at least doesn't have anything too crazy. Like a golden trophy. I don't know what that is. Horsetail, horse ears, horn, honey spoon. Whatever. Let's use the headphones. All right, so I'm gonna grab this. We're gonna create this, but before I do that, I need to take a look at this. See what position. So I need to get in position 8. And this says, I don't know what this extra ability is. Does this do something? I don't think so. Um, but it says static mesh. We're gonna make sure this doesn't say static mesh when I do mine. All right, so let's go into here. Say 3. And let's make our pieces. So we've got our CI, and it's gonna be custom, so we'll call it CI. Hey you. Um, we'll say Nina. This is gonna be an accessory. I'm actually used to real things. Cow for Nina, ACC for accessory, and I'll call this one Zaf scarf. Right. Let's see, base item. I don't really ever put anything in my base items. Hey, back here. Okay, so the skeletal measure is good. This needs to be 8. And in here, we're gonna grab our scarf for Nina. Throw that in here. And that should literally be all that I need for that. Nice. Let's see. So the IP that I will be using is this one. So I'm gonna create it real quick. Bam. Kabam. And bam. What it is, ho? What's up? So item prefab. Cow. And I don't have an accessory for yet. So what are bases? ACC. Both. And you will go here. All right, nice. There it is. Beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and make a data asset. Scarves. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna set this to 1. We'll set this to 3002. Set this to always cook. I use recursive because I like to pull everything from the IP. So then I'm just going to use explicit assets and I'll grab this IP server. To do this, you have to set certain things to never cook. Um, for my settings, never. These are the ones I take. Environment, my own personal archive, my own utility folder, the model folder, the shared models folder, and the common folder. And those keep certain things from getting pulled into your mod, because recursive says anything associated with anything that is associated with this will get pulled in. Right? Nice. Okay, so that is done. All right, so about that, and that. So ideally, this should all work. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I've forgotten. No, but I'm just gonna do it on first on Nina so I can check it, and then I can go ahead and repeat the process for the other two girls. Well, granted, the person wants to continue on with the project. Very nice, very nice. I wonder what AK stuff looks like. Let's see. What is his? What's new here? What am I not used to seeing? K and K. K and K. I wonder what that stands for. He's got a SKB. Huh. Where's his furry thing? Dynamic bones for what? What is it? Maybe his fur? I wonder if it's his fur. I wonder. I don't know. Wait, where's his fluffy thing? Is it not by default on him? What? What? T-shirt version? Black wrestler. Oh, wait, he's a wrestler version? What is this? Oh, that's just his hood off. Okay. Then hood on. And then his wrestler version. What it is, oh, what's up? Should put this on the chicks. See what happens. Oh, it's gonna take a minute to cook. It's whatever. What it is, oh, what's up? Let's say. But yeah, that's it. That's the process. See